We're going to start off today talking with Ed Baxter, and we're going to talk about some very specific AI products that he's found out in the world and see how they work. Ed, come on the show. Talk to me about what's going on with Kaggle.
Well, Michael, one of the things that we've tried to do on this show is to show innovation, disruption, new ideas, and what new ways of doing things that actually make sense in lieu of becoming some great giant bag of air, which we've talked about too. And I think that what we try to do is marry that to the fact that the show itself is designed for a specific purpose of, as we say in our intro, thinking about things that are tomorrow versus today and what people are doing with those. So without further ado, we'll look at a company called Kaggle. Kaggle is actually not a company per se. It's really more of a community. What Kaggle does more than anything else is that for those people who are out there involved in artificial intelligence, deep learning, big data, all those things that we seem to be buzzwords right now as far as tech is concerned, this is an area where you have people who do coding for machine learning at a level we may not have seen before except inside certain corporations. So the idea here is to introduce people to the community, why the community works, some of the things that drives it, in addition to some of those people who support it.
Okay. Talk me through it.
Well, let's look at that for a second. There are a couple of marriages that have gone on here that are very different from what we typically would see as far as machine learning and AI is concerned. Part of that is a hedge fund, which is very, it's a unorthodox to be the understatement of the day. Numeri. What Numeri does is what a lot of other hedge funds are doing now, because if you'll look at Wall Street right now, Wall Street's looking for more and more quants. The reason for looking for more quants is the same reason we look at data science, we look at predictive algorithmic activity and things like that. What they've done is they've decided to do something that makes sense when you think about tokenization and cryptocurrencies. They have their own crypto, and they essentially took $1 million worth of their own cryptocurrency and donated it, for lack of a better term, to any Kaggle user who would sign up for its crowdsourced hedge funds. In other words, they have a hedge fund that's actually crowdsourced, but the idea is that how do you make it work? How do you take a hedge fund and how do you take it and actually make it work? How do you make it perform? The idea is, from an analytics standpoint and data analysis standpoint, you make yourself better by being smarter than those people out there, or be more predictive as far as those other people out there who may be using similar analytics. So what you see now is the marriage of two different areas, the hedge fund industry and the deep learning industry.
Where do you think it's going to go? I mean, is it going to perform? Is there any results about what they've done and how it's performed in real money scenarios?
Well, they've had good and bad results. Some of the good results are they've had a couple of good, decent trades in situations here and there, but some of the other results have been maybe not quite as positive as they could have been. And part of that comes from just having a lack of continuity when you think about the strategy. Think about most hedge funds. The idea is to have a strategy, right? Most people who have a hedge fund have a specific thing that they do well, that they try to use to either arbitrage the market or do something that actually gives them what they consider to be a competitive advantage. You know, back in the Stone Age when I was trading, we had an algorithmic trading system that we used in real time. We would statistically sample the highest stocks, the stocks with the highest relative strength in the S&P 500 in real time, and basically scalp trade the S&P 500 in real time. And that's going back before the abacus, before we actually had the written word. So for a lot of people to think about us doing that without some of the computer power we have right now, it tells you really maybe we're a little bit more advanced than we thought we were. But at the same token, we could create alpha. Is that word again?
Right.
We could create alpha by having those types of returns that were generated by just pure analytics. In other words, how do I statistically sample a group of stocks and look for the ones with the best potential for moving, and then I take that basket of stocks and I trade it, and I trade it in multiple markets, and I can scalp those markets and or arbitrage those markets. So when you think about Numeri, what they're doing is the same thing to a certain extent, but just a little bit different in the sense that they have multiple algorithmic trading systems going on at the same time, trying to see which one's best.
Right.
So if you think about it, you go back to your commodity days. If you had a tool that gave you the ability to instantly analyze literally entire market in real time and look for those positions that represented the type of predictive analytics that gave you a trading advantage amongst those people you were trading against, do you think that would work well for you?
It would, as long as it was consistently correct. You know?
Right. Well, remember, if you think about analytics in general and algorithmic trading, it has its own ideas that change as the trade comes. So you have a bunch of different decision analytics associated with it. So as such, it gives you a chance to actually manipulate the algorithmic trading part of it as you go on. So with Numeri, taking the time to go out and find AI people, deep learning people, data science people, what you're looking at are multiple ways to do that in real time, instantaneously, faster than what you might do otherwise. Because otherwise, you got to sit back and you got to calculate these things like we did for the most part. I mean, you have computers that can do them, but if you can train the computer to look for the signs that you want it to have, which is part of deep learning and also artificial intelligence, that's what the programming is all about, and that's what you do. And we've talked about before. How do you create innovation? How do you support innovation? How do you take innovation and give it a reason to want to be? And how do you take a person that's a data science person that sits back and does nothing but code and or program like my ex-roommate used to do, and give them and incentivize them to do it? The way you do it is you give them $1 billion worth of crypto tokens.
All right. And do you see that this is just the beginning of something, or is it going to be like a one-off? Because let's take that example that you gave about trading. There's going to be good and bad. I mean, high-frequency trading came in, and next thing you know, you're either an investor or you're going to go in somewhere else.
Well, you kind of have both. I mean, people who high-frequency traded, obviously they were looking to scalp the market for small increments when they were trading really big blocks. The way we used to do, we would call a floor broker and actually trade a big block, and potentially we would have the ability to know what the size of the market was. We were in a position where we could actually take advantage of that because obviously we were professionals or whatever else. In this case, it's not a fly-by-night thing. Some of the biggest, deepest pockets on the planet are behind this. I mean, there's Buffett money behind it. There's J.P. Morgan money behind it. There's big hedge funds that you've heard of. I'm not thinking of it right now for some reason, but there's a number of different groups out there that are doing this sort of thing. I mean, Union Square Ventures, Coinbase. You remember Coinbase, the big trading platform for Bitcoin?
Right.
Some of the most innovative and disruptive minds that are out there are looking for ways to create this. We actually saw one similar to this when we were at the Bitcoin Super Conference. Do you remember the trading platform there? One of the questions we asked them, did they have this kind of predictive analytics that would allow you to trade Bitcoin and or other cryptocurrencies in lieu of just regular securities themselves? And they didn't really have an answer for us at that time. It didn't really matter.
No.
But,
let me change subjects here for a second, because I'm looking, basically what the premise is, as I look at their website, is they've got all these different competitions trying to bring in the best of the best.
You got it.
Okay, so you've got a Science Bowl, Google Cloud, and NCAA Major League competition. Then you've got, I think I saw one in here for landmark retrieval. And then you've got detection challenge, this disaster, machine learning from disaster. So looks to me like, and then house prices, advanced regression techniques.
Well, Zillow is one of the sponsors of that particular contest, but Kaggle itself is a area where you actually have contests. The contests vary depending on what the question is or what the problem is. But the idea is to continuously create algorithmic and machine learning software and or coding that will allow you to apply it to a bunch of different circumstances. In this case, the first one we looked at here was with Numera, the hedge fund.
Yeah, here's one with 3,835 teams for Mercedes-Benz Greener Manufacturing, and they've got 25,000 in there. Does that mean that's the amount of money they've raised?
That's correct. If you're sitting on your easy chair somewhere and all you do is make money just by coding, and that's what you like to do, you want to be a part of this community, and you want to recognize that there's big money supporting it because the data and the data analytics and machine learning that comes out of it is important.
Okay, good. All right, we got to go to a break, but thanks for bringing this to my attention, and let's see if we can use it to our benefit. All right, you've been listening to Ed Baxter on CEO Money, brought to you by Bison Creek Capital on CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Don't forget, podcasts everywhere, social media everywhere. Just all you have to do, CEO Money or WFN1, you'll find us. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with Rory Kutaya from Infuse.